Guru Nation, how's it going? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. I've got some videos in store for you guys. It's going to be amazing. I got interviews coming up, all while I'm doing in parallel building and running my site. And there's going to be lots of content about building my site. I'm about to do startup regulatory tomorrow. I might do a mini video on that tomorrow. But today's question comes from somebody straight off of Instagram. Anybody can message me there. And it's, hey, what is the fate and long term goal of someone coming into research and working with an IRB? Starts out working for an IRB. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you get in the industry, just get in. All right. So where you get your start almost doesn't matter. Some people get lucky and get their starts in companies that let them advance quickly. This is why I always talk about small. Try to go to small sites, try to go to small CROs, try to go to small sponsors. And some people get unlucky and work for, well, and at the time they might not even consider it unlucky, but they think it's more stable to work for a bigger company. So you got academic institutions, large sites, large CROs, large sponsors. As a general rule, the bigger the organization is, the less of a generalist and the less quickly you can build skills and the less quickly build marketable skills. Okay. You might be able to build skills that's going to help your employer, but I'm talking about building marketable skills that are going to help not only your employer, but you and your future career prospects. So I'm in love with the small is the new big idea. I think the industry, I think the 80s was all about big business and everything's big and you have systems for this and you have Six Sigma and you have all this stuff. I think the 2020s are about decentralized. Look what they're trying to do with decentralized trials. And I've got some interesting videos coming up with some guys in that space as well. And tomorrow I'm talking to Brad Hightower about this topic and how it pertains to the sites. And really, at the end of the day, if you really look at decentralized trials, it's actually putting CRO business in jeopardy, not so much sites. So small is the new big, guys. And if you end up working for like an IRB, that's great. And maybe you love it and maybe you can advance quickly within and build up your skill set from within at the IRB. But at the end of the day, even if you make it to the CEO, all right, even though that's probably not likely, but let's say like you make it as high up as you can in the IRB world. At the end of the day, that's still a vendor. That's a vendor for the three key stakeholders, which is quickly becoming two key stakeholders. The three key stakeholders that I talk about in my book here, the Comprehensive Guide to Clinical Research, shameless plug, going strong with a 4.8 rating on Amazon, I must add. Three key stakeholders: sites, CROs, sponsors. Brad and I are going to talk about how maybe in the next decade, it's really two key stakeholders: sites and sponsors. And the CROs are more of a middleman as well, even though they're a huge middleman. At the end of the day, they don't have patient interaction and they're not sponsoring the trial. That's the sponsors and that's the sites. So at the end of the day, the CROs are another vendor. And theoretically, you can say sites are a vendor too, but sites is where all the action happens. That's where the patients actually get seen. And even with certain things like decentralized trials, the patients, even if they're seen in their home, there is a site responsible for the conduct of that study and for those patients. And the patients have the trust of their physicians, many of whom are starting to do clinical research, like the guys and gals that I partner with on a daily basis, and like the clients that I deal with on a daily basis and who they partner with. So I just did a video on how the industry right now is very forgiving. If you're not very experienced in research, but you're a clinician and you have patients and you really want to make a site, you can do it. And then you need a coordinator. So at the end of the day, No matter where you get in, it's great, but try to keep in mind the macro overview of the industry. It's really sponsor CRO sites. Everything else is a vendor. Yes, there are some vendors with a lot of venture capital behind them trying to be disruptive and break that paradigm. And maybe, like I'm discussing with Brad tomorrow, maybe that paradigm will be broken and the CRO might be less relevant over the next coming decades. Or maybe not. Maybe the CROs get more relevant because they acquire those companies, and then they take over the whole DCT initiative. That doesn't matter to you. If you're an individual trying to break into the industry, get in, and then as quickly as you can, unless you fall in love with the company you work for. There's nothing wrong working for a vendor. Nothing wrong working for an IRB, for an EDC company, for an IRT company, for any other vendor in the space, patient recruitment vendor. Nothing wrong. If you like it, do that. Advance as far and as far as you can and as far as you want. But if you're trying to become a generalist and develop a repertoire and make yourself immune to where no matter what happens in the industry, there's a need for you, I would get at the site CRO or sponsor level as quickly as you can. And it may help to have that vendor background because then you could advance maybe further. For example, if you start at an IRB or at a patient recruitment vendor, and then you get hired as a CRA later, and then you want to be a CTM, clinical trial manager, they might take you up on it because you have experience working at vendor companies that CROs are often tasked with sourcing. So it all connects. And at the end of the day, the answer to this person's question and the answer to you, Guru Nation, if you're asking similar questions, is what's the fate and long term of someone who's starts working for an IRB or any other company for that matter? It's whatever it is you want it to be. It's not like you chose this starting point, so therefore you have this roadmap. You create it. This is why I talk about networking. People think I talk about it because it's like fluff. They think I ran out of things to say, so I'm just saying things to occupy time. I'm telling you guys, networking is the only thing you have at the end of the day. The only thing you have. The only thing you can control. You are in the business of you. So if you haven't gotten started yet, aim for small. Small is the new big. If you have gotten started, but you've been kind of pigeonholed either in a big organization or a vendor company where your skill set's very limited compared to the overall macro overview of this industry, this gigantic multi-billion-dollar industry, right? Then try to get into one of those companies where you can advance quickly, and preferably they're one of the 3 key stakeholders. So that's it, guys. Short, sweet, to the point. Stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Really means a lot to me. Catch you all later. Let's go get 'em, Guru Nation. Bye-bye.